is the Modern Conservative Podcast with Jon Harvey.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Jon Harvey, and this is the Modern Conservative Podcast. Yes, once again, I've been missing in MIA. My daughter's been going through some issues, been in the hospital for a few days, and that's been my priority. A lot of drama, which I don't really care much to get into right now. But today I want to talk about that, and that's drama. And drama in the Republican Party and their constituents. You know, I live in the great state of Utah. And Utah is one of those states that's very different when it comes to being a conservative. There's so many variations of the conservatives in the state of Utah. And every single one of them seem to think they need to be in everybody else's business. The problem with Utah and Utah politics is, you know, they don't separate here. You know, religion comes into politics in Utah as well. I just think there's a time and place for both. Religion should never be in politics unless you're getting back to the reasons why this country was founded, per the fathers of the country. But as an everyday rule, religion should not be running politics. I want to talk about Utah, for example. Utah had this unique atmosphere where everybody that called themselves a conservative seemed to have a problem with other conservatives. See, being in politics and fighting what's right doesn't mean any and everybody is perfect in this fight. What politics means is this: how are we going to govern our country? How are we going to govern our state? That's what politics is about. I just think the state of Utah sometimes get confused when fighting for rights. And I don't want to come across offending any particular group or individual, but if it shoe fits you, wear it. That's all I have to say about that. Just wear it. Because in Utah, some of you people out there think you're better than the others. Because no one has turned a light on in your closet and seeing what's happening in the dark doesn't give you any rights to get in somebody else's closet and turn their light on. Here, we can't get along long enough in this damn state as conservatives / Republicans to win the fight. Look what happened in convention a few weeks back. Someone who's not in politics other than being a political worker is now the GOP representative for the state of Utah, replacing or looking to replace Chris Stewart. And those people that are embedded in this society as far as politics got their ass handed to them, which should have never happened. And I'm talking about Greg Hughes. Greg should have won by a landslide because he has name recognition. He was a former Speaker of the House, former legislator, but yet he lost to a no name. Now, the suspicion is it has something to do with the Lieutenant Governor's office. The suspicion is that, you know, she was somehow or another giving certain passes to become the nominee. For example, doesn't really live here, haven't lived here for years. She lived with her sister, does not reside here. Registration issues, this and that. The problem is this, and most Republicans in the state are too selfish to look at themselves and say, wait a minute. She's telling the story how the Republican Party works really in the state of Utah. It is not grassroots. It's because people fight amongst themselves in these organizations and not realizing people are saying, no, I don't want to be part of that group because they're a bunch of nuts. And that's said so many times where there's no cohesion in the grassroots. There's no cohesion. So then the moderates can come in and kick your ass because there is no cohesion, because you're too damn busy worrying about what somebody else is doing, whether their organization or what they're doing in their personal life. Damn it, if you want to be fighting the battle and winning the battle of what's right in the state of Utah as conservatives, then focus on being a conservative, not a nosy-ass neighbor or member of society. I'm so sick and tired of hearing these damn arguments about individuals, what they do in their personal life. Their personal life has absolutely nothing to do with fighting for freedom. And like everything else, you try to mix politics with what goes on in somebody's personal life, their private life. It's none of your business. As a matter of fact, if you know what's going on in their personal life, that should tell you something about yourself. Your focus is on other individuals' personal life, not what's going on in our country and in our state, and fighting for that which matters. I'm so tired of hearing about it, getting phone calls about ABC person. I'm so tired of hearing about it. Why do we need to hear about it? Is that the fight? Is that the fight? So why the moderates steal one of our seats? Because we so-called conservatives in the grassroots movement are worried about what somebody else is doing. You destroy the leaders who heads up the fight. How are you ever going to win when you're destroying each other? How are you going to win? Don't tell me you're about conservatism. There are about as many conservative acronyms as there are in the LGBT community. Because I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of you out there call yourselves conservatives, but you're not. And being conservative doesn't mean you're perfect. But what it means is you truly believe that people have the right to be who they want to be or have their issues and they can deal with themselves. If you want to fight for something, don't fight for what goes on in an individual's bedroom. You fight for something that goes on that affects the public, society, your children. That's where you focus on. Hell, I'm not perfect. Not even close. Made my mistakes and still will make mistakes, but make no mistake. I know what I fight for as well. That's the difference. I know what I stand for. You may not like it, and I don't give a rat's ass, but I know what I stand for. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I'm willing to speak publicly about it. And I don't apologize. And I don't care if I hurt somebody's feelings, if it's the truth. And if it's the right of the people. If you want to wipe your butt with sandpaper, that's your right. Tear it up. That's your choice. If you want to smoke weed and you get caught by the police, hey, that's your problem. Have at it. But I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm here to try to protect you so you can live your life and you pay the consequences of how you live your life. I just don't want to have to be subject to having to live a life in which somebody else believes otherwise. For example, if you don't want to believe in God and you want to take it out of church, then don't go to places where they don't teach religion. I mean, it's just that simple. I don't want to partake in it. If you want to go in a female's bathroom and you're a male, your ass needs to go to jail. That's not all right. That's breaking the law in most states, unless it's a blue state. Speaking of which, I was in a Beans and Brew the other day, and I went to go to the bathroom, and the door had on it all genders. And this is a safe way for beans and brew because it says all genders. Well, hell, we know there's only two genders, but they visually play the game so those who believe there's more than two genders, would be more accepting of that sign. Even though Beans and Brew may believe there's only two genders, the sign actually really appeases those who believe that there are more. And I looked at the sign and I said, what the hell are we coming to? What the hell are we really coming to? We got Republicans who call themselves Republicans, but they fight like bickering ass Democrats. No, they don't fight like bickering ass Democrats, because even when Democrats are bickering, they still stand together. See, that's the difference, people. That is the difference. Republicans and conservatives will destroy their own soldiers just to pretend they're godly like. And that's a lot in this state. That happens a lot in this state. Everybody wants to be godly like, but with all the crap that's going on in some of these people's homes behind closed doors, and this is how they escape. They escape from their misery and they try to jump in yours. We call them back in the day, Captain Save-A-Hose. Look, people know how I am, and those of you that may be listening for the first time, and if there's anybody listening at all right now, because I haven't been listening, I've been doing podcasting and in a couple of weeks now, because life has its changes, and life does have its effects on everybody. Everybody. Now, yes, I have some great things going on right now in my life, some really great things, and eventually you guys will know what's going on. And it will benefit society to a T. But because I'm not in, I haven't been speaking lately and doing events lately, I'm still in the game. I'm still in the game. And trust me, I'm in it to win it. I'm really in it to win it. And I'm not speaking for myself. I kind of like the thought of having freedom. I kind of love the thought of, children growing up in a free society. I mean, it's a great thought to have. And the problem is, can we ever keep this freedom if we don't stop fighting amongst each other? Can we keep the freedom? Because you are destroying what we're trying to fight for. Every single one of you that attacks each and every political group that are so-called Republicans. You don't like because they don't want to vote for a certain candidate. You don't like because you don't agree on a certain bill. Who gives a shit? Get together and figure it out. Figure it out. We've got a guy right now that's running for president that we cannot afford to have in office for 4 more years. We can't afford it. Utah. You've got a lady that's running for a congressional seat that no one's ever heard of, but she's been in Washington, D.C. for 4 years. She has less time in Utah as a political intern, and now she's the GOP candidate. You know why? Because you're not paying attention to what you're doing to yourselves in the state. She just creeped in out of nowhere and became the nominee because you're too busy bickering amongst each other. Too busy bickering and getting distracted because what everybody else is doing. Focus on the fight. Focus on what we were trying to get done here in our state. We're just going backwards right now. We're going backwards. And if you think you're going to get in office in this state, grassroots, fighting amongst each other, it's not going to happen. Because you got to remember, some of these same people are delegates as well. If you don't learn how to get some cohesion amongst each other, you'll never get in office. I told somebody a long time ago, well, a few months ago, no, a year and a half ago, I said, grassroots will never get in because they're too damn busy fighting amongst themselves. And when you're too busy fighting amongst yourself, those 4,000 delegates are part of some of the same parties you're fighting against. If you do not get those delegates on the same page, grassroots will never get in. One more time, grassroots will never get in. They have to get on the same page. Hence the reason why you have Celeste, I think her name is Celeste, the GOP candidate now. That's the reason why she's in. Because the delegates are not together on some of these organizations. Greg Hughes, everybody loves Greg Hughes. But if so, how does she come in and win? You'll hear people say there's cheating and, the lieutenant governor's office is working up a deal behind the scenes. They're letting her get away with certain formalities. There's no consistency. It's because you're too damn arguing about the wrong things. You're too damn busy arguing about the wrong things. You lose focus in what you really should be focusing on. And it's not the personal lives of individuals in this state. But that's what Republicans do. They've been doing it for the past, as far as I can tell, 20 years. 5 presidents. Fight amongst each other, destroy yourselves, and let the Democrats beat you at the finish line. And then you pin, we didn't see that coming. You're damn right you didn't see it coming because you're too busy focusing on something else. Every single Republican or conservative organization in the state should rally behind each other. Doesn't matter if you come in second place. It doesn't matter if you come in third place, because at the end of the day, we all need to come in first place. And you're only going to do that if you're fighting this battle together. Stop acting as if you're surprised about what goes on in the state of Utah. Leave your religion outside the door. Open your brains up and think like regular people without the religion behind you. And that's all religion. At no time, I'm sure your religion to tell you, cut your nose off to spite your face. Because that's what you're doing. You think you're saving the community by fighting everybody's personal battles or getting involved with people that tell you that organizations are not good or some candidate is no good because of what he did or she had done when they were younger in life. Get over that shit. Stop judging people. Be freaking fighters. Because sometimes when you go to war, you're not going to give a damn what the character of that person was when he was younger when you're fighting that war. Only thing you want to know, they're going to fight with you. That's all you should care about. That's all you should care about. And some of you are going to disagree with me, and I don't care. Because the simple fact is, you Republicans need to get your crap together. Current conservatives, get your crap together. The moderates got their crap together because you know how I know? They just took you out in convention. They just took you out in convention. If you can't figure out where the proof is, I'm going to direct you to where it is. Convention. They just took you out over Greg Hughes. And you can tell yourself any kind of story that you want. But one story you can't change, like history. A no name just took out one of the most popular names in our state. That is a fact. And if you can't figure this shit out, you see what's coming. Because what they just done is put in another Romney Act. I was never a friend of Chris Stewart. Never see him. He's not at events. He's not a strong fighter. You never see him fighting for anything. And it's amazing how he and Romney never shows up. But here's the difference from Chris. When he was doing his stuff, he wasn't public about it. Romney was. So Romney invited you to hate him. Chris Stewart just did it quietly, and you never got to see him. So is it strange that the person who was the nominee for the GOP for his seat works for him? No, it's not strange. It's not strange at all. Hell, there's other candidates that were more well known other than Greg Hughes. There were candidates that were well known in our state that got their ass beat by a no name. Someone said she never thought she would ever run for 4 years ago. That was her attitude. And now she's the nominee. Now, Becky Edwards, who is gathering names, could she be a problem for her? Then we really lose. Then we really lose, you people. Think about this crap. Then you lose. Spend more time fighting a proper battle rather than an emotional war. Because she just weakened the Republican Party. Becky Edwards has a better name than she does. Now, let me tell you how the Republican Party is going to go. So there's a lot of people that's going to be pissed off because Greg Hughes did not win. So therefore, they're not going to vote for the GOP candidate. So when you don't vote for this candidate, you actually give a vote to Becky Edwards. And who else is running by gathering names? The guy out of Park City, which I hear he's a pretty good dude. So you better think about the long game in the next few weeks. You have to make a choice and put your personal pride aside. I'd rather go with the D, R in the seat than a D any day. At least with that R, you're going to get something out of her. It may not be each and every time, but you know you're going to get something favorable out of her. With a D in the seat, you ain't got shit coming. You've got nothing coming. Nothing. So I want to say this. We need to get this one right and leave your emotions at the door and do what grows the party and makes the party stronger. All these people that they're battling against each other because one wants more turf than the other, or one's on somebody else's turf when they shouldn't be, or one's doing more interview than the other, or one group is more popular than the other. This is where it's got to stop. This is where it's got to stop. And yes, myself, I need to get out there more publicly and start speaking again and stirring up crap, getting people emotionally involved the right way. The right way. I've been missing. I will tell you that. I've been going through some stuff and dealing with some stuff outside of politics, you know. I mean, I am still a dad. But I just want to say, you know, well, people, we got to get it together. We got to get it together because we always call ourselves the party of the right. We keep doing it, we're going to be the party of the wrong. Because we're doing it wrong. We are doing it absolutely wrong. And those people out there that have been asking me, am I going to run for office? Will I run for office? And I tell you, haven't made up my mind yet. It's because of this. Who's the Republican Party in the state of Utah? Who's really my people? Who's our people? Who's the real people? Who's the real conservatives? And being conservative is not about being right. It's about respecting the Constitution, all 27 amendments, the Bill of Rights. It's about respecting freedom. It's about respecting the higher offices in our country, such as the President of the United States. Now, I will tell you this one. I struggle and will continue to struggle while that man's in office, because there is no integrity there at all. I don't mean he's missing a little bit of integrity. No, he has zero integrity. The worst president in history, as far as I'm concerned, at least the worst president in my lifetime. I can safely say that. Look, you find cocaine in the White House of the worst president in history, and his son is a known cokehead. I can't go along with that dude. I cannot. This is what conservatives needs to be doing. You need to be fighting back, making sure from our state representative all the way to our national representative, they are the right ones. If you're not good enough to do it, you damn near good enough to choose the right one. Vet. We've got some great candidates. We've got some great state candidates in our state. We got some great state legislators. But we need more. And we need to get rid of the bad ones. Stop trying to make friends with these legislators. Get rid of them. They need to go. I see us in some text messages that, in some threads that I'm in, how we argue about how some candidates are good or bad or indifferent or whatsoever. Look at their voting record. Quit looking at what they did for one bill. Vet them for all the bills that they voted on. Call them out. Get rid of them. It's that time. It is time to stop fooling around with these people and do what we're supposed to do. It's time to stop being their buddies and do what we're supposed to do. Our job is to get them in office or get them out. That's our job. That is our job. We are the boss. We gave you the power, we take it away. But that's not really how it works. I see so many times we're fighting amongst each other. So while we're fighting amongst each other, they're laughing at us, thinking about, look at them dumbasses. They're distracted by their own BS. We'll get reelected again because the moderates got our back. We just say what the moderates want to hear, and we let these people that play out in the weeds keep, destroying their own agenda. Oh, yeah, them conservatives, they talk a real good game. Unfortunately, they play it like shit. That's what they're saying. It's time to reverse that. Those conservatives don't talk at all. They just do it. They don't bicker and battle each other. They work together. It ain't about religion. It's about being accomplished fighters when it comes to freedoms in our state, just like the fathers of our country, just like the soldiers that fought for this country. It's about just getting it done. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you. I had a great time today. Felt good back on the mic. And look me up on themodernconservativepodcast.com, tmcpnation.com. Check out the merchandise. Support the channel. I promise you I'm coming back, trying to put some headaches away. But until next time, I want to say have a great week. I'm hoping to hear you on Thursday. Love y'all.
This is the Modern Conservative Podcast with Jon Harvey.